Hi friends, welcome to Talking to Fence People. I'm host Eric. I'm in a pissy mood right now. I'm not really sure exactly why. I just need to talk out my shit or whatever. I don't know. I slept really well last night. Oh yeah, I'm not sad. I'm not sad at all. I'm in a pissy mood, which means I'm mad at lots of different people. I'm not sad. I want someone's asshole to put my foot up, you know. You've been pissy all week? Maybe it's just that kind of week, huh? Yesterday was the beginning of sleepy week for me. So I've been sleeping a lot, you know. You can see I still look tired, even though I slept from 10 last night till 11 this morning. Did the same thing the day before, too. Rachel's still in bed. She's still catching up on years of lost sleep. But, well, no, it's not that. I don't know exactly what it is. It has to do with medication cycle. It has to do that with, Saturday 3 Los Angeles time. I didn't have sexual intercourse last night. I was expecting to, and that didn't go down the way I wanted it to last night. So I was a little pissed about that. I don't like having my appetites deferred to later, whatever they are. It makes me mad. Rachel and I are having a little bit of, I guess, post-episode reconciliation process or something. Because, I've never really been a problem for us before, where I don't feel like I'm getting enough sex. Am I private about anything? No. Privacy's dumb. I'm opposed to privacy. Transparency, good. Privacy, bad. I look like a bum, huh? In what regard? Is it my beard? My uncut hair? I'm not sure if you're aware of this 100%, but all the barbershops are closed right now. So it's true, I would have gotten a haircut by this point, but no haircut in places. So what else makes me look like a bum? Is it my beautiful channel shirt here? Is it my nice clean white background with red couch? Is it my bong? Is it my watch here? It's kind of a funny bum, huh? You look like a funny timeout person there in the corner with your dunce hat on. I love it when idiots come in, probably hate monkey, like one that I've dealt with before or whatever, and try to troll, and they just gets their ass to school time and time again. But yeah, it's true. I could use a haircut. I would love to get one, frankly. We're talking about maybe getting some clippers and cutting it myself, We've discussed that recently. Rachel and me. So you and I could cut it together. I'm used to trimming my beard, which I typically will do periodically, but haven't in a while. Well, since I moved back over here, there's the Mexican ladies who I go to get my haircut from, and they do an excellent job of doing everything all at once. $20, takes 15 minutes. It's fantastic. She's so good. It makes me like, God, do I really want to cut my own hair? It's going to look terrible. One of the advantages of living with Kimberly was, of course, I had all the haircutting equipment anybody could ever possibly need at my disposal. But that's no longer the case. Are you doing the Type Police song but backwards? No, you got it backwards. It says this is INTP, but he seems like what it says seem to me. I think he's ESFP. It's highly unlikely that an INTP is going to call themselves an ESFP. It's highly likely that an ESFP is going to call themselves an INTP. Is he the end Davenport? I am an ESFP, yes. That is true. You are correct about that, madam. So yeah, I'm in a pissy mood. I'm not exactly sure why. But Woosah, Eric. Woosah. Yeah, I mean, Courtney was an ESFP who hung around talking with famous people who insisted she was an INTP. And, you know, even made a point to put books around her to prove it. Things like that. This is stupid ass shit. They can type themselves anything they want because they're using FI as a tool function and they're so non-intuitive that meanings are just arbitrary to them. It doesn't matter if they make any sense or not. I am an INFJ. Good for you. Congratulations, 100%. Thanks for sharing. We all appreciate it immensely. That's what he wants you to say, Missy Ann Davenport. I generally don't do things like give the person what they want when they say stupid ass shit like that. I'm an INFJ. Hi, I'm Julia. I'm an INFJ. I'm really looking forward to today. Hi. Did you do that? I like how girls talk like that sometimes. Why do they do that? Why? Why do women sometimes talk like that? Oh, I have tried. I'm looking forward to stay with you. Now I'm self-conscious about my appearance 100%. I think I look like a bum now. I'm gonna have to go put on a suit and tie. The thing is, I've heard that you look like a bum shit from day one. I've heard from people from day one shit like, oh, for a long time. Thank you, 100%. For a long time, I heard from many, many people, oh, I thought you were a crazy homeless person at first. And, it's like, but why? Obviously, you weren't listening to anything I said. The only way anybody could ever think that I was a crazy homeless person is that they weren't listening to anything I said. And they just were basing it entirely on something like that I had a beard. Not everybody with a beard is homeless or crazy. I never understood that. I guess it's because I'm so non-visual. I just don't spend a lot of energy or time picking up on visual cues. Like there was this page Rachel and I were looking at yesterday about the sexual instincts in Enneagram. Yeah, it's getting a little bushy. But I need to take this mustache now instead of getting in my mouth. I don't like that. It says at INTJ, I am not a crazy person, nor am I a homeless one. I am perfectly sane. I make perfectly good sense. In fact, I make the most sense of anybody. So, usually. Other people make plenty of sense too. But I try to make the most sense anyway. That's my goal. That's the thing. If your goal is genuinely to make the most sense on TI grounds, basically, and you've applied that for decades, then eventually you're going to start making some sense, right? If everything you say is subject to critique all the time, now, granted, usually it was as a debate coach, but it's the same process. You've got to actually be better in your argumentation. You can't fake it at all. You'll get your ass whooped if you do. If you're trying to fake it, So, it makes sense that what I say makes sense. There's good reason for it. I've been practicing making sense for a long time. The problem I have is my own humanness, basically. I'm a person of moods and feelings, of what some people might deem poor self-discipline, but it's really a dislike of long-term things, Desert INTJ, I nominate you. Well, thanks, Isaac Rowdy. I'd like to think I am. I try to be. And that's the thing about, if you're really trying to be that, you're going to have to go through some revision processes, because people are going to be right a lot of times. You know, you're going to have to fix shit. You're going to realize that stuff doesn't work. People are going to call out stuff, and you're going to go, yeah, I need to think about that. You know? Of you giving crazy looks. I would not be a good person to do that, because, again, I'm just not very... I could get Rachel to do that, maybe. I'm not very good at distinguishing visual things. Like, I'm good at spicing together parts of talking that I think make decent sense and are sort of complete idea. But I'm still disappointed in my last sociologics video. It needs visual aids. You know, I can't do that without visual aids. It's too complicated, and people can't follow it unless they're TI1, TI2. That's it. It's for TI1 and TI2 people only, that video. And I can't make videos like that and expect to win the argument. It's frustrating to me. I feel frustrated right now today in general. And I'm not really sure why. But I'm glad I started live streaming so I don't take it out on Rachel when she gets up. Because I need to recognize the fact that my general frustration is not Rachel's fault. Even though some of my frustration might be directed at her a little bit, you know, like, that's not her fault. And that's my emotions. And I need to take ownership of those, because she didn't do anything wrong. So I'm glad I'm live streaming. Because otherwise I would have probably taken it out on her a little bit. Not much, but a little bit, probably. I try not to lash out. I mean, ask her. I'm pretty gentle and sweet. Well, there's the quarantine too, which is this sort of growing ignored NI frustration. Well, I don't like Wings, personally. I do agree he's a 9. I think he's 9-7 or 7-9. And I don't know what the last one would be. 2 maybe? I think he's got a 2 in there. 9-7-2 or 7-9-2. He's a lot of 7 though. Believe me, he's a lot of 7. Don't underestimate the amount of 7 in that guy. But I agree, he's not 7 first. I guess. No, he's got to be a 7. He likes to play too much. I can understand somebody going, okay, he's 9-5-2, but no, he's 9-7-2, I think. That'd be my guess on him. He's a good guy. I feel bad about. Can I sort of feeling pick up emotions from the future? I would say no, but it can anticipate how someone might feel, I suppose. Well, that's a good question, Missy Ann Davenport. Is it weird to purposely pursue MBTI relationships, dual, identical, superego, socionics? In other words, socionics relationships. I don't know if it's well advised exactly. I can understand why somebody might do it. I would say that it would probably make more sense to go into dating with an exclusionary policy that says, I know if I encounter ESFP, that I don't want to date that person. Now, granted, you're going to know that naturally anyway, simply because you're just not going to like that person very much if you're an ENTP, and vice versa. There's going to be too much conflict right off the bat. You might have one fun time together, and that's about it, you know? So it's not really necessary, but it's probably useful for people like me who have F5 polar, especially, to have some sort of external rule that can constrain them, but it probably can't constrain them anyway. I'm very much at the mercy of my feelings when they do arise, you know, and they don't necessarily lead me to the right places, but sometimes they do. You know, like Rachel's an example of, well, Rachel's really the first time in my life that I ever felt going into a relationship limerence, which is this state of like just sort of delighted obsession with the other person, I guess you'd say. And I think it's fair to say she was experiencing the same thing. So that's a great way to go into a relationship, is to get the object of your desire that you're so limerencely obsessed with. I would say in that regard, feelings were very indicative to me of what I ought to do, and I was right to do it. But that's what I wasn't ever looking for, that sort of thing in the past. It wasn't relevant to me. I wasn't waiting for my feelings to confirm anything at any point. It never seemed relevant to me. How was my past relationship abusive? You know, it's like, oh, this is part of what made me upset yesterday. I remember now. We watched this movie called Trainwreck. And in Trainwreck, it's a movie with Amy Schumer in it. And she's dating this doctor guy. And there's a scene where he's mad at her for fully legitimate reasons. She's fucked up and like walked out of his speech while he's making it because she got a phone call. But it's kind of not her fault because it was a really important call from her boss and blah, blah, blah. But then when they're out in the hallway, he's starting to kind of lay into her a little bit for good cause. And he's been like a super nice guy the whole time, right? And then she goes, okay, I guess we're done then. I guess I'm not the girl for you. And I'm going to leave now. Kimberly used to do that shit to me. And it made me really mad to see it, to see her get away with it and get him in the end. And that it was okay to sort of like, I mean, she changed her ways, quote unquote. Well, what does that mean? She quit drinking, smoking weed. Well, that wasn't the problem there. You know, that's not what the problem was. And so it made me angry that Effie is timeless and therefore capable of picking up emotions from possible future events. Well, it can anticipate other people's emotional responses, but it cannot pick up emotions from the future because the future hasn't happened yet. You know, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought the last sixth of it was bad. The last fifth of it, maybe it was bad. I enjoyed it up until then. But because it ended so badly, in general, it ended badly. I didn't like it, and that scene disturbed me. I didn't realize quite how much it disturbed me until right now, but it disturbed me and that's what made me so upset, I guess. And I guess I was probably a little inclined to take it out on Rachel unfairly. You know, it's like transference. Yeah. Well, it's a shame because it's the sort of thing that it takes me a long time to process. I'm not bipolar. I didn't understand at the time that I felt I probably do have some abandonment anxiety from past relationships. I certainly hammer the point a lot that it's important that we both keep steady with the same narratives about permanence and togetherness and stuff like that. You know, it's disappointing to me that I let that that I mistook that for something other than it was and allowed it to influence my mood or behavior. That's disappointing. I'm disappointed in myself. No, I mean, I know I do. You know, every woman prior to Kimberly had left me. I left Kimberly because she had grown so toxically awful to me that I literally couldn't tolerate being with her anymore. I mean, she was just an absolute fucking nightmare by the end. You know, it's like when towards the end I asked her, "Will you ever speak to me with anything but contempt and disdain?" She said, "No." I was just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I can't be with this woman. What am I thinking? That's how contrary and just irrationally angry she was at me all the time. And eventually it made me irrationally angry at her all the time, you know? Are personality types a way for nature to keep things in balance? I don't know why personality types exist. It's a hard question to answer. It's better just to say, most correct at least, to say that personality types describe the way that human consciousness naturally expresses in one of 16 possible configurations, each of which represents a strategy towards achieving a singular prime directive. People say you can't make a woman happy. Well, that's not true. That's not true. Kim was an ISFJ who had BPD, though. So you can't fix broken like that, really. I couldn't love her. I couldn't love her back to humanity's side of things because she didn't know how to love. She didn't want to know how to love. She had this warped understanding of love as being this toxic thing that you do to the people who are closest to you. Hi, Rachel Apollosa. I love you, baby. Have you been listening to the whole stream? I hope so. They have a never-ending need, right? They have a never-ending need that you cannot satisfy at all. You can never, and you don't. Your needs don't matter at all. And this was an ongoing fight I had with her. Why is it that your feelings matter so much and my feelings don't matter at all? You know? So anyway, Rachel, I'm sorry to the extent that I took out my upsetness about that movie last night on you.
That wasn't about you at all. There's a huge difference between our challenges and Kimberly. A massive, unspeakably vast difference. There's nothing remotely similar, even if there are surface comparables, comparables or whatever. Just in certain things. Someone told you a long time ago that a woman doesn't love you for who you are, but for what you do. I don't think that's true. I think, people. I think a more accurate way, if you want to reduce it in some sense, is people love you for how you love them. In a healthy relationship, or at least that's what both people get out of it in a healthy relationship. Both people feel loved. Both people feel validated and well loved. Okay, right ruminations. I appreciate you doing some research. Thanks. On my position first, because otherwise it would have been a clusterfuck of a mess, right? But you're assuming my position is very different than it was. It's good thinking on your part. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're both taking it easy. I don't know. That movie really upset me, I guess. It really took me back to the injustice of the whole thing, because that's not going to change. And then in the movie, she's just like, maggity, 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 and all of a sudden everything's fine. Fuck that noise. Krishnamurti would say that love is pleasure. I mean, the thing is, I really think it's important to look at the instinctual variance in a Negrum. I think those things are significant in some way that I haven't incorporated into any system yet, but regardless, I think they're significant because what I see is that Rachel and I are both sexual subtypes. And what that means is our instinct, our most base level instinct, is to pair up. I think we are both that type. And we're also compatible in so many different ways. So as a consequence, we really resonate with one another, and we both know what love is. It's both a process and a feeling and an experience and a lot of other things. But it has a lot to do with care, being very careful with each other, So, in fact, the thing I got mad at Rachel for last night, this is kind of funny. You're going to laugh. I got mad at Rachel because she was expressing concern that she sometimes hurts me, but I don't ever hurt her. And that this was a unfairness that she was perpetrating against me. And I got angry at her because I told her to stop expressing doubtful things about the relationship. That was our fight. It wasn't really a fight. It was very much not a fight, but that's what we fought about. Well, I have trouble understanding how. The thing is, I'm saying, even the concept of it doesn't make sense to me. Like the idea that a species, which is a self-replicating genome definitionally, could somehow be something other than a self-replicating genome. It doesn't offshoot variations of it. We see that all the time, and we can look at it every day. The fruit flies with very fast generations. It just doesn't happen, So I have trouble answering the question because it presumes something that's not yet been explained, which is what exactly is this mechanism? The species is best defined as a self-replicating genome. So I want to know the mechanism by which it does something else. And nobody's been able to explain any such mechanism to me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I think I've exhausted my need to work through this shit. It's a very good thing that I decided to live stream. I feel now, I guess, emotionally resolved about it. I recognize that it's old stuff, and I think Missy and Davenport has the right idea there. We'll see if Rachel's on board. I don't know what's going on. Let's just see how awake she is, I guess. All right, bye everybody. Love y'all. Thanks for being there to be my psychiatrist while I'm feeling emotional. Which reminds me, we have an appointment at 4 p.m. today. Don't forget about that, Rachel.